reduction. We're going to bring business down to 15 to 20% from 36 and 38 and even higher that in certain instances. We're the highest taxed nation in the world. We're going to bring taxes way down. And for middle income, we're also getting rid of brackets. We're going from 7 to 3 or 4 brackets. And that will be such a pleasure.
What would you like to see the brackets look like?
Well, I'd like to see 0 if you don't make much. Like 0, and that's what it's going to be. It's going to be 0 up to a level.
Okay.
And then it's going to be 12.5%, 15%. It's going to be 10%. We're working on the different numbers, but it's going to be much lower than it is right now. It'll be the biggest tax cut since Reagan and probably bigger than Reagan.
Very good, because I need the money.
We have to get this good. But before you are in that high bracket, I hope. I hope right now you're in the high bracket.
Yeah. Well, we saw some of your returns. These people over at NBC News doing everything they can to take you down.
What I have here is a copy of Donald Trump's tax returns. We have his federal tax return for 1 year for 2005.
I thought you leaked those returns yourself. It made you look good. You had made $135 million and paid a lot of dough to Uncle Sam.
You know, they're bad people. There's something wrong with them. They leaked them. It's illegal to do what they did. I think, you know, I always heard that a tax return was a very sacred kind of a thing. You don't leak them. You're not allowed to. It's criminally offensive. But they put them out, and I think it was, I mean, they're good from that standpoint.
Right.
My tax returns are good. All of my tax returns are good.
Yeah.
But
are you going after these leakers hard?
I'm thinking about it. We're looking at it, but it's terrible what's going on in Washington. We have a certain establishment out there that's leaking. And if it gets down to other things, even more important than that. But a tax return's a very important thing. And you're not supposed to be leaking them. And they do. Right. Which is, they just don't respect the law. And we have to change that.
Right. The anti-Trump resistance, it's out there in the streets. Some of it's in the federal government. How much do you think is that genuine anger? And how much do you think that's someone like President Obama pulling the strings from behind the scenes?
It might be everything. You know, there's some anger and there's great love on our side. I mean, look at the crowds outside.
Huge.
We have crowds. We have Senator Lamar Alexander. We have Senator Corker. We have the governor of the state, governor of Tennessee, great guy. And they say they've never seen crowds like that ever. They've been here a long time. They've never seen anything like it for the country stars, for anything. And that's love. We have great love. That's how we won.
You have a lot of love on your side, and then there's also people burning things in the street. Do you think President Obama wants you to succeed?
Well, you know, he's been very nice to me personally, but his people haven't been nice. And there's great animosity out there. There's great anger. Leaking is just one example of it. In some cases, a very serious example of it. But leaking and the level of anger is hard to believe. So while he's nice personally, there doesn't seem to be a lot of nice things happening behind the scenes, and that's unfortunate.
The media, pretty vicious, not just to you, but to your family. How do you process that?
You just have to go on. You know, we've done a great job in terms of manufacturing, in terms of the market, in terms of business optimism. I don't know if you saw optimism's up the highest in 15 years and much more than that it'll turn out to be. Things are just going really well for the country. You look at the border, down now 61% since the inauguration. Wow. Stock market's up 15%, almost 16% since the inauguration. Over $3 trillion of value has been created. Many jobs have been created. I mean, we're really, look, I inherited a mess, okay? The Middle East was a mess. People wanting to get jobs is a mess, despite the numbers. You know, you hear numbers, but you have millions of people out there that want to get jobs. They can't get jobs because we don't have good jobs. But they're coming back. Ford is coming back. General Motors is coming back. Fiat Chrysler is coming back. We just had a big meeting in Detroit with the car manufacturers, and it was unbelievable what's going to be happening. So ultimately, that's the thing that talks. And as you probably saw the polls that came out today, I'm at my all-time high for this. So we'll just keep going.
You're still paying attention to the polls,
I do.
you?
I pay. The only ones I guess I shouldn't have paid attention to were the exit polls during Election Day,
Right.
because I was saying, boy, I think I'm doing better than that, and it turned out that we did.
Let's do a Waters World quiz.
Okay.
Don't be nervous.
Okay, I won't. I
think you'll
promise.
do just fine. Chuck Schumer, the president of CNN, and Alec Baldwin. If you had to fire one person right now, who would you fire?
Well, I think the Alec Baldwin situation is not good. Chuck, I'm very disappointed because he's a guy that should make deals for the people,
right,
not as Democrat or Republican. I thought he'd be a deal maker, and instead he's a, just an obstructionist. So I'm disappointed in him. And Jeff Zucker, I mean, I got him the job. I recommended him, and I didn't recommend. I got him the job. And CNN is just, fake news. Who would I say? I don't want to say, but I will say I'm disappointed in all three. I think the portrayal of me is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Steve. You look rested.
Thank you.
Next question. What is going to be done first, building the wall or defeating ISIS?
Well, you see we're doing very well in the Middle East over the last 4 weeks. That's another thing. I mean, we're not playing games anymore, and we're letting the generals and the captains and the majors and the people on the ground that graduated from West Point and Annapolis, and they graduated from the Air Force Academy, and they're out there doing their thing. Mm-hmm. But I think the wall is going to start very soon. We had almost 200 bidders to build the wall. We have great pricing coming in. We have some great designs coming in. I think the wall's going to start very soon.
Are you going to pick the design for the wall?
I'll be very much involved. When it comes to design, I'm very good at that stuff. And building on time, on budget, that's what I do.
Okay. Let me know when they break ground. I might be down there with a shovel.
Good. Maybe I'll be down there with you.
Okay. The lightning round. This is the last part. I'm going to name a name, and then you give 1 or 2 words to describe that person, okay?
Okay.
Kellyanne Conway.
A very nice woman.
Hillary Clinton.
Disappointed.
Mark Cuban.
Backed me all the way, but when I wouldn't return his phone calls, he went the other way, picked the wrong horse.
Yes, he did. Vladimir Putin.
Don't know him, but certainly he is a tough cookie, and I don't know how he's doing for Russia. We're going to find out one day, I guess.
Elizabeth Warren.
I think she'd lose so badly. I think she hurt, honestly. I think she hurt Hillary Clinton very badly.
Why?
I watched those speeches, the anger, the hatred in her heart, and I said, she's really bad for Hillary. I watched that last couple of weeks where she was getting up with that craziness and that anger.
I got news for you, Donald Trump. Women have had it with guys like you. And nasty women have really had it with guys like you.
Pocahontas would not be proud of her as her representative, believe me.
I think she's probably going to run against you, Elizabeth Warren.
I hope so. Boy, do I hope so. That would be a dream come true.
Snoop Dogg.
Well, look, I think that was terrible not because of me. I think it's terrible to do that to any president, any person. I think it was pretty low life. His career is failing, and he's getting a lot of publicity on it. But I think it was a terrible thing to do, personally.
Last one, Jesse Waters.
Tremendous future, tremendous potential. Should be making good money. Your agent should be very happy, and I enjoy your show. And honestly, you've been so nice to me that this is why I turned on the biggest shows on television, and here I am. It's Waters' World.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Jesse. Great
Appreciate
job.
It. Even before President Trump took office in January, his entire family had become the targets of harassment. Last Christmas, a Hunter College professor on the left and his attorney husband on the right verbally assaulted Ivanka Trump in front of her 3 small children while on a commercial flight in New York. The incident sparked outrage and a petition for the professor to be removed from his post at Hunter. So Waters World went to the school to talk to some of his students and also caught up with his husband.
The daughter of the president-elect was sitting in the middle seat of a JetBlue flight out of JFK earlier today with her husband and their 3 children. That's when one of the passengers is accused of verbally accosting her.
Professor Matt Lassner here at Hunter College was involved in harassing Ivanka Trump and her baby on a flight.
Yeah, that's not cool at all.
What do you think about his behavior?
I think it was inappropriate. I feel like she's a human, so she deserves respect as anyone else does.
Yeah, it's scary.
There's a petition to remove him as professor here. Do you support that?
I mean, sure, any harassment is not, I can't accept that as a woman.
I feel like no school should employ somebody like that.
No. Do I think you should be removed? No, of course not.
Would you be okay if Hunter College employed a professor who harassed Chelsea Clinton and her baby on the flight?
I mean, I'm not really a Chelsea Clinton supporter either. There should be some type of repercussion for his behavior.
What type of repercussion?
Maybe he can be put on like probation or some type of removal for a short period of time.
Do you think the school president is going to abide by this petition?
Well, I hope so. I mean, if there's proof about that, I really hope that they do something about it.
Would you feel comfortable taking this professor's class?
No, not at all.
How you doing this morning? I wanted to talk about your behavior on the flight, sir. Do you regret verbally abusing Ivanka Trump on the plane? You harassed a woman with her baby on a flight. You proud of that? Real class act, aren't you? Now you're afraid to show your face? I'm giving you an opportunity to apologize, sir. Nothing to say? Coming up, a classic shootout with Perez Hilton.
I care about America. Donald Trump doesn't care about America. Donald Trump doesn't care about you. Donald Trump cares about himself.
I feel glorious, glorious. Got a chance to start again. I was born for this, born for this. It's who I am. How could I forget?
Hollywood's legion of liberals have been freaking out over the Trump presidency since well before he took office. Remember this?
What is evident is that Donald Trump lacks more than the qualifications to be president.
He lacks the necessary stability.
And clearly the respect for the Constitution of our great nation.
You have the position,
the authority,
and the opportunity to go down in the books as an American hero
who changed the course of history.
And just hearing the words President Trump left many in the entertainment industry, including my next guest, in tears.
If and when Donald Trump becomes president, our economy is going to go to I care about America. Donald Trump doesn't care about America. Donald Trump doesn't care about you. Donald Trump cares about himself. Insane. This is just... Things are not going to be okay, people. They're not going to be okay.
So does professional gossiper Perez Hilton still feel that way? He joins me now. So Perez, you have to admit you were wrong about the economy. It's actually kicking into high gear. The stock market's on a record tear. Will you at least admit that?
Well, it is because he's being great for Wall Street, which, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought he campaigned against that.
Well, I mean, Wall Street's doing well, and all the men and women who have investments throughout this country are probably reaping some nice rewards if they have any money in the stock market. But let me ask you a question, because I am very concerned about you. You're saying people aren't going to do well. Are you okay? Are you doing okay, Perez?
Oh, I said I would be okay because I'm well off. I was more concerned for the people that aren't well off because I'm one of those bleeding heart liberals that cares about other people and not just my own financial interests. The wealthy people of America will continue to be okay. It's those that aren't wealthy that I'm concerned about, and I don't know if they're going to be okay.
Okay, well, I think maybe in a couple months we'll have you back, and if some people that didn't have jobs now do have jobs, maybe we could all sing Kumbaya. Let me ask you this, though, because the SNL folks, and I know you're tied into the Hollywood crowd, franchise going pretty aggressively against people in the Trump orbit. Let's take a look at how they depicted Kellyanne Conway on Saturday Night Live. Take a look.
Kellyanne, what the hell are you doing here?
I just want to be a part of the news, Jake.
And this is how you do it? By breaking into my apartment?
What was I supposed to do? You weren't answering my calls. You changed your number. I'm not going to be ignored.
So I thought it was pretty funny when Melissa McCarthy did the Spicer imitation. That was hilarious. But then to go after Kellyanne Conway and depict her like a slut, I thought that was kind of unfair. Do you think it was fair for SNL to go after Kellyanne as some sort of promiscuous person?
Like a slut?
I don't know, putting her in kind of like a cheap silk negligee and acting seductive and sultry. I mean, you didn't see that at all?
No, I did, but they were spoofing Fatal Attraction. That's what they were going for.
Right, with
they weren't
Kellyanne Conway.
her or painting her out to be something she's not.
Okay, well, I think many people that saw that might not have agreed with your interpretation. But, you know, this is just...
And many people that saw it probably didn't agree with yours either.
Well, I will leave that to the audience to decide. This isn't the first time SNL's done this. You know, they've had writers go after Barron Trump as a school shooter. You know, they've depicted the Trump team as bigots.
That was only one writer.
And let me
and
finish.
that did not make it onto
They've
the
gone
TV
after the
show.
Trump team as bigots and racists and idiots. Why do you think the franchise has so aggressively gone after the Trump team in such a hateful, intolerant way?
I don't think they're being hateful. I think they're being humorous. And if people can't find the humor in it, they probably shouldn't be watching it then.
Well, I think some of it's funny, but some of it's just mean and nasty. You know,
Well,
maybe that's just me. Because I think if
media you think is mean and nasty.
Well, I don't know. I just
advise the same to others.
I just think
it's your choice. You know, I encourage more people to watch Fox News and read Breitbart if they're offended by what they're watching on, you know, NBC or reading on CNN.
Listen, I'm not offended by it. I think everybody can watch Saturday Night Live. That's fine. I just think most of it is pretty nasty. That's just my opinion. Let me ask you a question about this, though. The New York Times writer, journalist he calls himself, was at some party.
Or it might be her. We don't know who the gender.
Let me just finish. Was at a party, and the swimsuit model picked up on something this journalist said, and we have the tweet that she described him saying right here. We have it here. Sat next to a journalist from the New York Times last night who told me, Melania is a hooker. Whatever your politics, it's crucial to call this out for what it is. Slut shaming. I don't care about her nudes or sexual history, and no one should. So I noticed you didn't really cover this story on your website, Perez. Why?
We did.
Did you? I didn't see it on there. Why couldn't I find it on the website?
You probably didn't look closely enough. Just it's on there right now if you want to go search the Melania Trump category. And I agree.
It's not, because I saw it was covered in the lawsuit Melania had, but this actually wasn't. Maybe I'm wrong. Go ahead.
No, we covered it. I can send you the link right now if you would like.
Okay, please do. So,
okay.
So tell me, why do you think the New York Times is so anti-Melania?
Melania Trump. I'm about to send you the link.
Okay. Take your time.
And I'm not going to continue with the interview until I do that, because I have obsessive thinking.
Okay. Perez, you know, we don't have time for you to go through the website because, like I said, I couldn't find it there either. But if you just answer my question, we'll assume you have it. If Fox News journalist called Michelle Obama a hooker, wouldn't you find that offensive, and wouldn't you find that on your website pretty quickly?
Yes, I would find that offensive, and I do find it offensive that that journalist called her a hooker.
Okay. Why do you think that is? What's with it about smearing the First Lady of the United States that the left and people in Hollywood find so attractive?
I mean, I would disagree with you there. I don't think that people smear her at all. I think most people actually feel sad for her.
Well, I mean, I just told you about Chelsea Handler going after her. She's been depicted in many magazines and periodicals unfairly.
She's not most people. She's just one person. And like I just said, if you were listening to me, I pity her.
Why do you pity Melania Trump?
What?
Why?
Because I would perceive her to be somebody who's not very happy.
Why do you know what's in her heart?
I didn't say I do. I said I perceive her to be.
What gives you that ability to perceive for genuine feelings?
You know, I could just read her body language when she's with her husband. It's a man who won't open the door for her. It's a man who'll walk first. He doesn't seem to be a gentleman.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you know what's in Melania's heart. She seems to be happy to me, but maybe I am wrong. Perez, thank you so much for joining Water's World. I really appreciate it, and look back to having you on again.
Sure.
Thank you.
Appreciate you having me on.
With moviegoers around the world flocking to theaters this holiday season to see the latest installment of the Star Wars saga, I traveled to a galaxy far, far away to try my hand at using the Force. Ow, Jesus. R2. Live long and prosper.
No, that's incorrect.
What do you mean?
May the Force be with you.
You have a girlfriend?
Yes, she's right there.
What do you think about your boyfriend's obsession with Star Wars?
I'm right there along with them.
What character are you?
Luke Skywalker.
Luke.
I am your father.
No! No! Do you have a crush on Princess Leia?
Well, that's a loaded question considering who I'm dressed as today, isn't it?
I just saw Luke talking to some girl over there. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that one thing happened, but we kind of don't talk about that anymore.
What kind of blaster you got there?
One that'll send you far, far away from me.
You stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Do you believe the Force is real?
I think it touches all of us. It surrounds us, it penetrates us, it binds the galaxy together.
Is this like Christmas for you?
Yes. Except for when the movies come out at Christmas time now, too.
Are you going to be doing any speed dating here later?
I will be. And I will use my Jedi mind tricks on everyone I come encounter with.
I'm
Including
nervous.
you, it's working right now.
What are you doing?
Everyone else has a collection of toys and helmets, and I have my Star Wars collection on me.
If I was to get a Star Wars tattoo, where would I get it and what should it be?
The Death Star on your butt.
That would take a lot of force.
The Force would have to be with you.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.
If Donald Trump was a Star Wars character, who would he be?
Obi-Wan Kenobi, because he is wise.
Jabba the Hutt. He's orange and mean, so of course. Probably Darth Vader. He would be the Emperor.
I can feel your anger.
What are we going to do about Vladimir Putin?
Let him be him. We need to deal with us. We have problems here before we can deal with other people's problems.
America first?
Sure.
The Syria situation is getting pretty messy. What do you think we should do about that?
The series. And what was your question?
What do you think we should do about Syria?
That's not my part of the galaxy.
I don't know. I don't know how to fix it.
What do you think we should do about Kim Jong-il?
I don't know.
Use the Force.
Watch it, boy. I'm Waters. And this is my world. I mean, my galaxy.
Okay.
Anxiety over President Trump causing people to hire professional cuddlers. That's next.
May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on.
Live from America's News headquarters, I'm Molly Line. Frigid weather hitting much of the country as we prepare to go into the new year. Potentially life-threatening cold temperatures are spreading across the deep south. Cold advisories are in effect in Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Atlanta is in an unusually long stretch of cold weather as well. Those frigid temperatures blanketing parts of the country, creating dangerous driving conditions. Snow being blamed for this 20-car pileup in Michigan. And in New York City, they are getting ready for the ball drop at Times Square. 2 million people are expected, and they are being warned that this New Year's Eve could be the coldest since 1917. The temperature expected to be 11 degrees with a wind chill of 0. Security, its tightest ever. Extra personnel will be on duty, as well as snipers and explosive sniffing dogs. I'm Molly Line. Now back to Waters World.
Today, the entire world can see that America is coming back, and America is coming back rapidly and strongly. They see that with what's going on economically.
The United States has added more than 2 million jobs during President Trump's first year in office. It's great news. One of those booming businesses, professional cuddling. So how many liberals are still struggling to cope with his win? They need some extra TLC. Recently, I spoke with the co-founder and CEO of thecuddlist.com, Adam Lippin, and certified cuddlist Brianna Quijada to help explain the phenomenon. So, Brianna, I'm going to start with you. Take a look at your bio here. We have it on the website. It says, I specialize in listening and laughter and have a passion for nurturing through non-sexual cuddling. So cuddling's not sexual, is that what we're saying?
Correct.
So people come to you because why?
They're looking, a lot of times people are just looking for touch and attention and someone to just spend some time with.
And they're cuddling. Now, you're the cuddler. So you would spoon them? Is that how that works?
Yeah, there's all different kinds of options. So as long as we're following the code of conduct, keeps it non-sexual, and pretty much everything is up for negotiation.
Okay, so spooning or touching or stroking, would those be the things that would make people feel better?
Those are some of them, but every session is unique.
Okay.
And their possibilities are really infinite.
Wow, okay, so everything is up for negotiation, and people aren't turned on at all during the sessions, or they are sometimes?
We screen people, we do an intake, and we talk to them and make sure that they are genuinely interested in a non-sexual experience. So by the time I see them, yeah, we're ready to go.
Adam.
Yes.
So people a little upset about President Trump, and you say you've seen your business improve since his election. People are anxious and seeking physical affection.
Yeah, so, you know, one of the people, John actually, who was quoted in the Rolling Stone article which sort of precipitated this, is an Iraqi veteran that came back. And he has done talk therapy and medication, and it wasn't really working for him. So he thought some human connection, some healing touch could benefit from him, and he states that this was the most important thing for him, and it's really helping him. And his issue with Trump is that he had a job with the government, and the day of when Trump won the election, he rescinded, he had a freeze on hiring, so he didn't get his job. And so those were some of the issues that he was dealing with. And we work with military veterans all over San Antonio, Texas, et cetera, that deal with issues of PTSD, anxiety, loneliness.
I would imagine some people are just upset with President Trump.
Sure.
Because he's rattled their cage somehow, and they are looking for someone to cuddle them to make them feel better.
Yeah, so we don't sort of screen based on political affiliation, and we have over 100 cuddlists all over the country, and in red states, purple states, and blue states. And our average age of our client is in their 50s. We don't know their political persuasion. So it could be the kid who's seeing their family for the first time that's nervous to meet their Republican father, or it could be the Republican father nervous to meet their kid who is supporting Bernie Sanders. We don't really know because we don't ask that question.
Okay. Now, Brianna, could you show me what cuddling would look like? How would some of this touch appear in these sessions? Maybe demonstrate?
So before every session, something happens, and so Brianna is going to demonstrate. So I'll play the client, and you play the cuddlist.
Okay, go ahead. Cuddle.
All right, Adam. So I promise that if at any moment I'm feeling uncomfortable, whether that be physically or emotionally, I promise that I will speak up. Will you promise to do the same?
I do.
Okay, thank you.
So that's how every session starts.
And then would you guys like to touch each other, or?
Well, so Brianna, are you a yes if I put my arm around you?
Yes.
And so if she says yes, I'd put my arm around her. But the whole concept of this is about consent and boundaries and owning what you want. So for example, a lot of times when a session starts, the cuddlist will say, okay, how would you like to start your session? The client will say, I don't know. So the cuddlist will say, listen, you're paying for this. This is your hour.
And it's $80 an hour.
It's $80 an hour.
Wow.
So
it's a lot of money. I'm sure it's worth it, Brianna. I'm sure you're an excellent cuddler.
Right now, the government is spending over $4 billion with veterans with issues with PTSD just for disability payments.
This might save a lot of money. Instead of getting them hopped up on Oxycontin, they could cuddle Brianna instead. All right. Thank you guys very much. Up next, Fox News Fun and Games, the Holiday Edition. 'tis the season to be jolly. And what better way to continue the holiday spirit than with a round of Fox News fun and games? Joining me this week, Fox News Chief National Correspondent Ed Henry.
So excited. This is great.
All right, try to control yourself. All right, so imagine you're a woman. All right, no, it's difficult for you. Imagine you're a woman, and you're bringing home a guy to meet the parents for the first time around the holidays. Who would be the best guy to bring home to meet the parents? Bill Hemmer or Peter Ducey?
Wow, this is a tough one because they're both great.
Agree.
I know them both. Both kind of all-American and all that. But Ducey, it's like you bring him home and it's like, is this, you know, the kid brother? Is this, no, you know, but, and we love him in Washington, but I think Hemmer's like, he's the guy. He's
he's like stable, you know, he's, you know, a little more mature.
I mean, I hope he's not offended, but he's like the Ken doll, right? I mean, we all know him.
I don't think he'd be offended by that.
He wouldn't be offended by that.
I think he likes that moniker.
Hey, Ma, look who I got, the Ken doll.
Yeah, but is there a lot going upstairs going on here? And Ken dolls, I'm just kidding,
No,
Hemmer.
there's not.
Yeah, he's not just a piece of meat. Come on. And I would be worried about bringing home Ducey. I'd think the mom would be like, eat something. You got to feed this kid.
Yeah, and it's a package deal. It's Steve, too. So it's like, you know, I got Steve, I got Peter.
It's a lot of Ducey.
It's a lot of Ducey.
Too much Ducey. All right, I think we're going to go with Hemmer on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so here it is. The most likely to get in a fight at the Christmas dinner table, is it Judge Jeanine Pirro or is it Tucker Carlson?
I mean, is this really a question?
Is it Jeanine?
I mean, Judge Jeanine is going to
you're going to go with Jeanine?
I mean, you're not, the salad dressing's not on the table yet, and she's in your face, she's in your grill, she's in your kitchen cabinets. I mean, she's everywhere.
Snap out of it. Do I have to go through this again? What happened? You lost, he won, karma's a bitch.
See, I don't know. I think that everybody already knows that she's so tenacious, they don't want to mess with her.
But Tucker, people misunderstand. I get this all the time. Airports, whatever, they say, why is Tucker so mean to people? He's a happy warrior.
Right.
He really is.
Yeah, and he's going to smile as he tears your throat out.
Right. And whereas Judge Jeanine is just tearing the throat out. There's no, it's just like the stiletto, everything. I mean, she's bringing it.
She's throwing shoes, she's throwing gravy at you.
She's like the Mariana Rivera of the dinner. I mean, she's bringing the heat. It's like Enter Sandman.
You know, I'm going to have her over at my Christmas dinner table because my parents are far left radicals and I need a little help. I need some backup.
Fair and balanced.
All right. All right, this is a fun one. Who is the secret party animal? Who's going to cut loose and you don't think they're really going to cut loose when you bring them to a party?
Yeah.
Is it Shannon Bream or is it Father Jonathan Morris?
I'm really reluctant to answer this because of a non-disclosure agreement I signed. But
yeah, we were going to put you in this, Ed Henry, but you know we decided against it.
Please don't. But knowing what I know, I can't go into. But Father Jonathan for sure is a secret party.
Okay, you know what? I want to play some video. So let's see if there's proof to this. Go ahead. All right, so that's Father Jonathan getting loose with the karaoke.
And now he's running the party. Yeah.
Whoa! I mean, that guy can really turn it up.
The mechanical bull. And look, I love Shannon. I do her show at 11 p.m. almost every night. She's a great anchor, great colleague, great friend. But before she had an 11 p.m. show, I have this on good authority from her husband. She's in bed at 8 o'clock. I mean, she's got the roller, she's got the Noxema, she's going to bed. You know?
I actually partied with her during the conventions out in the middle of nowhere in Ohio. We have a picture, I think, here at some dive bar. Where is it? I think we took a few shots. It was, you know, after we had finished working. But anyway, I think we're obviously going to go with Father Jonathan.
Father Jonathan.
I mean, who gets on a mechanical bull? That's just crazy.
And I mean, the singing, the karaoke, he brings the whole deal. And then a spiritual message at the end.
Right. And I think
he ties it all up.
Yeah, I think he was just taking some wine. You know?
Well, he turned water into wine.
Water into wine. That's how it works. All right. All right. So, who would you rather ring in New Year's Eve with? Ed Henry or Jesse Waters? And this is a trick question. Because you're going to be able to ring in the year with both of us.
Oh, wait. We're hanging?
Well, I mean, if I let you.
I'm Henry. Oh, wait, I can't do that.
You can't steal it. You got to get your own thing. Your thing is the pocket handkerchief.
We are together for New Year's Eve for the first time ever.